Live from Break Glass Studios, it's Psi Factor and the Cougars. Straight talk.
Well, fuck you, hippie man. We have a new number one.
Isn't that amazing?
That's really good. That was a mashup.
That last bit taken from?
The Doughboys reunion
I don't know.
show.
That couldn't have been me.
It was you.
It was you.
What? Really?
Yeah. And this is you too.
All right. Yeah.
That's
you
definitely
Psi Factor. I'm saying Psi.
Yeah. And then
can we hear just my beautiful? Oh yeah. That's what I get.
Everybody stick around if you're babysitters.
Okay, we heard that bit.
I'm gonna get fucking
wasted.
So try and stick around.
You see, I think you really hate you.
I did get really wasted that night.
Fucking right.
Yeah.
You're not one of those people that say they're going to do something and then just
and
never
I do it. I do. If I say it, I'm going to do it.
You never do's it. Yeah, if you say you're going to get wasted, you get fucking...
I get fucking wasted.
You're like, oh yeah? You don't think I'm going to get wasted? I can see it in your eyes. Watch this.
Oh, wait, another thing you loved, wasn't there a band called Wasted? And they had their promotional poster was, when you hear wasted, you're going to want to get wasted.
It was spelled W-A-Y-S-T-E-A-D. And it was their advertising campaign was, you're going to want to get wasted when you hear wasted.
And they're obviously amazing.
Fucking amazing.
No.
You think they're a hair metal band?
Yeah, they were a hair metal band. And I think that the label eventually dropped them because of the fact that they condone getting fucking
wasted.
Yeah. Nothing gets by, you guys. Welcome back to Psi Factor and the Cougar. I'm the Psi Factor.
I'm the Cougar.
And together we are
Psi Factor and the Cougar. And I don't know who you are.
You don't have to talk.
It doesn't matter, really.
It doesn't matter.
It's but us, though.
Yeah. That's...
So we were a little nervous today because if you listen to any of the previous podcasts, I mean, you've been pretty much riveted throughout the hour. There's usually, there's a little bit of studio magic. This, of course, is the live thing, but the archives are actually edited by Augie, who's behind the glass over there.
Audience.
And it's pretty much all spun gold. Yeah, Augie, everybody. It's pretty much all spun gold. People are just riveted. They're on the edge of their seats going, what will they talk about next?
The show does sound, and both Jimmy here and I know, because we're our own biggest fans. We listen to the show more
huge fans.
We've listened to all 7 episodes right through during Christmas. We're both embarrassed to tell our friends earlier.
Not.
Yeah.
And
just told everybody, but they're very busy people.
I think a lot of people think that we don't put forth any effort to this show.
But what they don't realize is that's true.
It is.
It's very much true. But this show, we were like, okay.
It's true for you, but in actual fact, I actually write down ideas for the show and stuff like this. But this particular show, I have absolutely no ideas whatsoever. So we're just going to find out.
Tell them your idea though that me and Jackie thought stunk.
Yeah. It was Psi Factor and the Cougar on Psi Factor and the Cougar. A reflective, like looking back
at the 7 other episodes we've done.
Yeah,
which neither of us can even remember.
A retrospective.
Yeah, but we don't even remember what we talked about. We know we ate chicken wings and Patrick Watson got really drunk. That's all we know.
We can't even piece together whether we told certain stories or not. So if we repeat certain stories, then we can, of course, edit them out after the fact, and then the show will be like about 20 minutes long.
We had a meeting.
Yeah.
Is that the first time we've had a meeting?
And the first meeting we've ever had
First meeting, yeah.
It was
Yeah.
fruitless.
It was fruitless, but at least we steered you away from the, let's talk about the history of the Psi Factor and the Cougar.
See, I really want to get into the early days of the Cougar. Because people don't really know. If they think he's shitty now, they should have seen him.
Why do I even show up here? This is ridiculous. By the way, I did hear the last episode where I slept in and was slightly late. I heard what you guys were saying before I got here. Fucking assholes. Odorous? You called me the smelly wizard or something?
But that's a good one.
No.
That's a term of endearment.
No.
Because you smell. Anyway, but
I look like I smell. I don't.
It is true.
Smell.
Well, your beard does smell like cigarettes.
No, it does.
Stuff.
Well, maybe.
Smokes and fucking booze.
So anyways, we did come up with some stuff, right? Didn't we?
Yeah, there's some things we can talk about. I think I have
Well,
some.
Howard can just text in and give us stuff to talk about when we forget what we're talking about.
Did you want to, because it's, do you want to tell the
Excellent
greatest...
job in the intro, by the way, Howard.
You don't want to tell that one yet?
No.
Yeah, okay.
It's trust me, I'll need to take a rest.
Okay.
I need to do push-ups before telling that story.
Okay, I would like to talk about the Cougar, though, in the early days. And it is a slight burn, but it's also compliment.
Well, no shit. I would just like to say something about the Cougar. He's a great dresser.
You know, okay, I just want to... You've always been a great guitar player. I've always been
Incredible.
an admirer.
Amazing.
Well,
Well, you heard me on the theme.
Yeah.
That was me.
But what you don't know, Jack, is that he would show up, like when I first knew him, he would show up at shows with his band with no guitar, no amp, no nothing, and no chords. He didn't even have picks. And he would just go, do you mind if I borrow your guitar? Oh, is it okay if I use your amp?
Yeah. Yeah.
What about the first time you showed up when the Doughboys hired you and
I had nothing.
and you came to Montreal for the first time?
Oh God!
Oh, but
why are we
there's a
constantly?
good story about that because Elliot Lefkow, who is the biggest promoter in Toronto,
He now
at that
works
time,
for that Golden Voice in LA.
hated Jonathan.
Hated
fucking hated
Mike
him.
Marley
He
and
was
Sailors did one show and Lurch destroyed the dressing room at RPM.
He banned the Cougar from all of his shows, everything like this, and he loved the Doughboys. So he was when he found out he had joined the Doughboys, he immediately phoned Caston to try to stop Jonathan.
It's like, look, that guy's trouble. But then again, look at all the stories we've been telling. I was on non-hits acid, peeing on people while they were fucking. There I was getting busted by the CN police. We're breaking into houses. And you know what? Maybe Elliot Lefkow was right.
Yeah, I think he might have.
He was totally right on the money.
Truth in that.
I remember he was freaked out for when they were opening for Henry Rollins because Brad was in the band with him. And
That was with Circus Lupus.
Yeah, but Brad was late to show up for the show, and he was freaking out because he was using Brad's guitar.
Fuck. Yeah, I left that guitar in a rehearsal space. I don't know if he ever even got
at that
back.
show, he stepped on the guitar while it was in the case and broke the case.
Yeah.
And so Brad freaked out on it.
That was a good show, though.
It was a good show.
Yeah, I actually tried to. I borrowed John Pastori's Les Paul once, and I tried doing that thing where you can flip it around, which I'd only seen in videos. I'd never even actually ever tried it. We were playing with SNFU, and it was the first time SNFU came to Toronto. And I went to spin it around, and it came back, and I went to catch it, but the strap came off, and it just went, and then it flipped and just landed right on the headstock, right in front of John Pastori. That's how we ended. That's how the show ended, because he's like, "You can't play my guitar." He just grabbed his guitar, going, "Nope." And I was like, "All right, good night."
How many songs have you played at that time?
Huh?
How many songs had you played?
Oh, like 3. Yeah, that was bad. Fuck, I did way worse shows. I did. We played this show in Oakville with Circus Lupus again with Mike Jess. When Mike Jess was in the band.
Oh, I played that show. Was that?
No,
it
was with No Mind.
Yeah, I was played that show too.
Really?
Yeah, Chainsaw Blues.
Oh yeah, I saw that you guys at Quackte. Remember, we were all fucked up on acid.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is that like a church?
So we all dropped this acid, and we fucking got like super high. And it's really fun trying to play a punk rock show when you're on acid. It's like the funniest thing ever. You're like, why are these people staring at us?
And those punk rock shows were so shit. Everybody is like
totally
running around in a semicircle. Like they're so horrible. All these kids get jacked up on Jolt Cola and shit. It was like,
and it was Oakville. Like,
Yeah.
who fucking cares? But we were like super, super high. And I remember Bruce's mom was there because I was like, knew his mom really well, but I was so high. And she was going, "Oh, Jonathan, it'll be fun seeing you perform your music." And I was just going, ah! Freaking out like she turned into a gremlin or something. And, so we start the song, and it's in E minor. Bruce wrote it. Sucked.
I know that.
Submarine Blues.
Oh, yeah.
That sucked so bad.
We had to record that song, and when we were recording in the studio, I was going, and Bruce took everything fucking totally. It was about him meeting.
He's in the Blue Man Group now.
Yeah, Submarine Blue Man Group. And it's a story about him meeting a bum in a fucking Mr. Submarine and how sad he was because he was a sensitive guy for the guy and stuff like this.
He's in the Blue Man Group now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard that from somebody, like from you 2 seconds ago. Anyway, when we were recording that song, I was going well, like, because it's one of those like heavy, intense songs, and then it gets quiet and then loud again and quiet.
It's pre-Godspeed.
You've never heard anything like it before. Nobody's ever done it before. Anyway, and I was going, dive, the whole song, and Bruce was fucking bumming out so much because he's a sensitive guy. Anyway, continue.
Oh yeah, so the song's in E minor, and then out of nowhere, I started playing the riff from Sex Bomb by Flipper, which is in D. So the band's still playing E minor, and I was so high. I'm like, fuck this. Let's just play Flipper. So I was going, and then the band's like, what the fuck are you doing? And I was like, fuck it. So after a while, we just played that riff for 20 minutes. Just with me going, wah, screaming. And kids didn't fucking know. Barry Thomas was at that show too. So then we'd play it really fast, and they would all start running around in a circle. And then we'd play it like so slow, like just. And then they just go, and then we'd go, play fast again. And we just sat there watching them like speed up and slow down, going, whoa, this is amazing. Until finally Newman, who was later in the Doughboys, because we were opening for his amazing band, No Mind. He said, he just went, you guys got to stop.
Now.
He's like, you guys got to stop.
We did this show.
I was so high.
Remember that time we did a show at the Slither Club, and it was this super group, and it was Newman, Ian Blurton was playing. There's like 10 like local kind of people that would like were in bands that could draw a lot of people and stuff like this. And all we did was like we played the riff from Electric Funeral by Black Sabbath.
Oh yeah, that was my idea. That was my idea.
There was
we'll just play Electric Funeral.
There's seriously a lineup like all the way down the street to get into that show, and like this, it was sold out, and like halfway through the first song, the whole bar was empty.
Fucking amazing. I played another amazing show on acid where we cleared an entire bar in my band, Mike Marley and the Sailors. Drysdale, who we talked about, the camera thief, was over at my house on New Year's Day, visiting from Toronto, Canada, and was regaling me with this story that we were like, okay, we're all going to drop acid at like 6, and then we'll show up with the gear. We won't bother with doing a sound check at this place called the Cameron in Toronto, which I think is still there on Queen Street.
Yeah, it's there
in the back room. And Stuart Black, who was our bass player, used to play in this awesome band, Jolly Tambourine Man, who was a little crazy. He's like, I'm going to do the dance. Yeah, it was a whole lot. He was super crazy. But he's like, I'm going to do the dance of the 7 veils, where he had 7 veils on his naked body that he would take off one at a time. It was fucked. We just had this strobe light going the whole time, and we're so fried on acid. So we show up, and Drysdale's driving Cam, and I was already like with Stuart. We'd already like 6 o'clock, time to drop the acid, get ready for the show. And so everybody's fried, but Cam gets, who might be listening, right?
Yeah.
He's been listening to the show, apparently.
Right.
He gets way too high, like freaky high. Like he's curled up in a ball, and Coco, who I think you met in the Couve.
We spoke about her in the last episode.
And our friend Io was there, and Cam's like, dude, I'm really having a freak out right now. And I was like, what? And he's like, I can't play. And I'm like, what do you mean you can't play? And Mike Marley were like terrible. Like it was like a noise thing. Like we kind of had songs, but not really.
They did a medley that had Star Wars in it.
Yeah.
What else is it?
The Snoopy theme, dooby-doop, the Peanuts theme. Yeah, it was a weird band. Anyway, so and all of that, because most of the time I didn't play guitar because I didn't own a guitar. So it was either Drazim to be the lead singer, and then he'd give me his guitar, and then I would play it. Then
he's like,
vice
he never
versa.
practiced or anything. He's way better than everybody else.
Yeah, I never had to bother learning how to play guitar, but I mean, I can't do anything else. Weird. Anyway, so
that I can.
So we got a guy up from the audience. We're like, does anybody here play drums? Not kidding. Because I loved, my favorite shows were like when the more sucky we were, I thought like the way better it was. And there was a bunch of people there who were like, oh, you see this Mike Marley and the Sailors Band, which is an amazing name for a band too. So I'm just singing and screaming, and it's just a guy from the audience going, dun, 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 and we're just going, wah, wah. And this waitress has all these drinks and all of her tips on this tray, and I'm just going, yeah, like crawling around on the ground. It was like punk rock or whatever. I'd just seen the Swans. I thought we were the Swans. This is like 84 or 85 or something. And I ended up like crashing into the waitress, and she spilled all the drinks and all the change. There's pictures though. Drazza has a picture of me, and she started booting me in the ribs.
And
I was going, I mean, I'm stoned on acid, and she's like breaking my rib cage,
harshing your mellow.
She's totally harshing my tokes. And
but then he started to try to help her pick up the change.
She's like, you fucking pick it up in the middle of the show. So I'm like, oh, okay. So it's like the band's like, what the fuck is he doing? And I'm picking up all this change while she's kicking me.
That is.
That's how that show ended.
The lead singer of the band.
And we totally cleared the bar. There was people walking around me as I was like picking up change, trying to get out of there.
The band knocks over the waitress's whole tray of booze and change, and then proceeds to help her pick it up while the band just kind of goes fizzles out, and everybody files out the door.
Yeah, apparently it was very weird. I know a couple of people that were in the audience were like, that was like the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life.
That's fucking amazing. That audience is a little bit too
But anyways,
big for
yeah, it is weird how Elliot Lefkoe made that phone call to Kastner. Odd.
I was happy on so many levels from that whole incident. I was happy for you because you joined the band and stuff, but I was happy because Elliot always, he bothered.
We did, my favorite Mike Marley show we ever did was at Lee's Palace, and this is when like people actually like sort of knew who we were, like we were getting a local following. So we were like, oh, okay, well, we're going to play with Black Jello, which was Derek Beckel's band.
Was I playing drums for them that show?
No, Mungo was.
No, he played guitar.
Oh, yeah, I know Mungo was in the band. No, I don't think so. You could have been at this show, though. So me and Beckles went to Kensington Market before the show and grabbed just all this fish.
Oh, no, I heard about that, though.
And so he's like, "Oh, we got a big surprise for you," because Lee's Palace are being total dicks to us.
Dickwads.
Yeah, and so I gave away the secret. I ran up on the stage going, "You were gonna throw fish," and we just started throwing all this fish at the audience, and then all these people started throwing it back. And it's like, I don't know if you've been on a fishing trip in a boat. You know how it gets all slimy? And like the fish was like totally tepid and warm, like they'd been sitting in the back room. Like it, as soon as you walked into Lee's Palace, it just reeked like fish. So they started throwing it up, and there were some punker dudes who were like breaking open the fish. So there was like fish guts, and it was that slime. And I remember us running around on the stage laughing and just slipping all over the place.
That sounds like that Gigi Allen story about when he played at Fufun.
I was at that show.
They had to close it 2 weeks after because he filled up a douche with his own feces and sprayed it all over the audience.
Yeah, it reeked. You weren't at. I was at that show,
and he'd go down, sink down in the audience, and people going, "Holy fuck, where the fuck is he?" And he'd go running through the audience, and then just pop out, punch somebody.
No, you'd see a guy going whoop. He would just grab the guy and just go rah! And the best part, I was hiding behind Sarah Montgomery that entire show. My girlfriend at the time. I was going, oh! And yeah, there was two amazing parts of that show. One was I went out front because it fucking all of Fufun like reeked like shit. Like he was just flinging shit like diarrhea. It was fucking gross. And there's this like woman like smoking like Truman Capote going, I just, because it was an art festival. It was the Shock Art Festival. Mark Prent had a showing, and
she was clapping by snapping her fingers.
Yeah, pretty much. I think she had like a giant loaf of French bread and was wearing a beret. And she was like, and so I'm out front getting a breath of fresh air, and I actually overhear this talking to her friend going, that was like so deep, because he really just showed us like the blackness and the darkness that is in his heart, and the hatred that coursed through his veins. It was almost too real for me. It was amazing. And then she turns around, and there's a giant wad of shit on her back. And I was just like, sweet justice.
I just got a text from Tavis. They're watching the show out on the West Coast. He called He called me shit-faced the other day. He was so great.
I refuse to believe that.
He was wasted, and he calls me, and he's talking, blah, 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 and then all of a sudden I hear in the background, by the way, Rachel's like 7 months pregnant now.
No way! Yeah, congrats!
She's going to have a child. And I hear in the background, he's going, oh, yeah. Then I hear, Davis, would you shut the fuck up? And his 7-month pregnant wife is like banging on the door because he's wasted voting his buds. Fucking right.
Davis.
He's got to get that. He's got to get a knapsack for that kid. Walk around, grow his beard out, throw on some pony. What do you call those? Pigtail. Well, I don't know. Come on.
Pigtail.
Well, maybe we could make that into a contest for the 5 listeners that are watching
Simon
right now.
Talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it not clear? Like, hippies things? Would walk around with their babies in a knapsack or whatever. I don't.
Oh,
or
like a
burlap
sling?
sack or something like that.
Like a sling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Front sling?
Did we come up with anything we're going to talk? Or is the show almost over now? Is that it?
I think that's it. Thanks
for tuning in.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, we still got to fucking talk.
No, we were talking about a young cougar, see, we are sort of.
We did, yeah. We did talk about the young
dabbling in the history of.
Yeah.
You have any more Cinema L'Amour stories?
Yeah, you must.
Well, I don't know what did I tell the circle jerk story?
No.
Oh fuck!
You also haven't told the story that you probably told both of us about the elder lady that would go in and take out her teeth.
But that's somewhat depressing, though.
Or is it? Jackie started had an air leak as soon as I mentioned it, so it can't be that depressing.
He likes to laugh at down and out elderly people.
Yeah.
Who take their teeth
with
out.
1 foot in
Yeah,
the
she
grave.
would take one false eye out and give wink jobs.
She would. Okay, so this woman would come in. No joke. She's like 80-something years old.
No, really?
I swear to God, I'm not.
I never
even
saw her.
exaggerating.
She was a regular.
I am not the exaggerator like
Yeah,
you.
no, I am.
And Cine L'Amour
Yeah.
is...
It's a porno theater I used to work at.
Yeah.
But it's like, Claire, because I mentioned it on another show, and I know we have a lot of followers that listen to every single show. But I'll give a brief summary of that place. It's mostly people that are above, like they're senior citizens. Like they have their senior citizens cards, and they use them to get into the porno theater for cheap.
Oh, and they get discounts?
Yeah.
What,
Yeah,
10%?
yeah.
And they also don't.
And they were really, really excited when they turned the day they were old enough to get that card to use it at the theater.
Like 10% off? 15%
Yeah.
off?
It's like $1 off or
I
something.
can't wait. I'm like 5 years away from that.
I can't wait till the day. It's as if, like, the admittance that you're going to this fucking thing, and people die.
It's because they don't have the internet, right? That's why they're doing
I
this.
guess so. And also, I think most of them actually have families and stuff. But the average age there is probably 70 to 80 years old, so
Really?
people die there all the time. In this porno theater.
Is that ever
And
brought
it's
up
like
at the wake
it's like
and
a
stuff?
glazed-
At least he was dying while he was beating off.
I don't think their families saw it that way. But the inside of that place is like...
Or was he beating off while he was dying?
It's
I don't know.
No, it's all these guys all diddle each other.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, they're in denial. Like they have families, but they all fuck around with each other because they're unhappy at home and stuff. It's a fucking...
But they're like 80? How do
Yeah.
they even get boners?
70, 80.
I guess they
I
do.
don't know. But anyway, there's a woman that used to go in there, and the first time she came in, Stacy was working. My friend Stacy was working. Who's excellent. She's disappeared now, but she's had a kid.
The
and-
original In Your Facey.
Yeah, totally.
I
In Your
just saw
Facey.
her 6 months ago at Brasserie Beaubien.
Yeah, and now she hangs out there. She's friends with the owner. But she was working the cash, and this woman walked in. She's like 80 years old. And she takes out her teeth, and she gives Stacy like $10. And it's like $7.50 to get in. So Stacy's like, "What do you want? Change for this or something?" Thinking she wants change for the metro, which is right outside the door. And she's like, "No, like I'm on like Social Security, and like it's really tight. Like I need to make a bit more money." She's paying
You
to
really
get in
missed
there
that.
to do tricks inside.
You missed that shit is really tight thing, Mr. Sound Effects.
Shit is really
That's
tight.
what she said.
Oh.
To forget
I don't
it.
have
Fuck,
that.
keep going.
Wah, wah, wah. That one.
That
would
one's
work.
edited.
I
That
like
one's
the fact
hitting
that
the
it's
editing
gotten to the
room
point
floor.
that you're producing.
Augie's making a mental note right now, going, "Go on."
I like the fact that your producing job has gotten so bad that we actually have to make our own sound effects at the end of our own stories.
Wah, wah, wah.
with our,
I love you.
I love you. Hello, baby.
Well, at least give me some
love you.
applause for that story.
Okay.
That's
Let me,
interesting stuff. Thank you.
So
Thank
she would
you.
take her teeth out? Is that just like an anecdote?
Did she take her teeth? Well, it
While
just
paying?
that was painting the picture about how down and out she is. And I did see her for quite a long time.
Did you let her in?
Yeah.
Oh.
She's paying to get in, so she got in.
Yeah.
The worst part was that, like, they had a mezzanine section for couples.
I
And-
went on a date for the couples night once.
Yeah, but you went downstairs.
Yeah.
But so
It was roped off area.
Yeah. And-
VIP
I like to
section.
Yeah.
treat the ladies right.
And the manager, which was me, would usually was supposed to walk them up, but I just go, "Oh, it's just up the stairs."
We only lasted 5 minutes.
'Cause
We
it
thought it
was-
was really funny until like dudes like cockroaches
Yeah.
started surrounding us.
Yeah.
We were going,
Yeah.
ah!
Yeah, they
As
have
there's
no
like
shame.
this porno on the big screen. It looks like open heart surgery or something. I was just going, ah! I was like, I thought this was going to be funny, but this is just very awkward.
Like Taxi Driver. What do you mean a lot of couples go to these movies? They so the couples would go upstairs to the mezzanine because it's a VIP couple section, twice as expensive, $14.
it's the champagne room.
But everybody, all of these shitty dudes that are like in their 70s and stuff, they have no shame. They don't give a shit. Like they would all go to the front of the theater underneath the screen and look up to the mezzanine to see what the couples were doing. So the couples would be looking at the screen and look down.
They're like
and
Mussolini.
see a lineup of fucking these dudes, like most likely
staring at them,
rubbing themselves or whatever.
Like, are they? Do they wear like the raincoat kind of thing too?
Yeah, they totally. It's literally like a glazed donut in there. At about waist level, all the way around that theater is nothing but fucking men's
watermark.
On each seat, there's like a V, and I wouldn't even go in that place. Like I would. The only thing I would ever do in that theater is like run around with air freshener and just go before anybody went in there, and that's the only thing. I didn't even like breathing the air in there, which, by the way, was probably full of fecal matter, and I don't know what else. That's right, kids. Anyway,
this is totally an NSFW.
Yeah.
What the fuck does that even mean?
I know. I don't know.
Not safe for
Is
work.
that
suitable?
What?
Not
suitable.
safe or suitable.
Look at us. We're so old.
Yeah.
What's this LOL thing that people are doing?
Lots of love.
What is
That sounds like that character that Martin Short does. What's this LOL character? That LOL abbreviation that everybody's doing. Anyway, so
I thought I was doing Andy Rooney. What's the deal with paper clips? I mean, they're always around.
I don't know. So one day I was painting the mezzanine on the second floor of that place, and I looked down, and there is a circle jerk of about 30 dudes. It's massive.
The biggest circle jerk
around this guy.
And they're all elderly.
And it was burned into my memory for the rest of time. When on my deathbed, I'm sure that'll pop up, like as one of the last things that I ever fucking, because it was so.
Goodbye, cruel world, and then it'll be just that.
Oh, a bunch of.
You'll walk into the light, and there'll just be a bunch of dudes having a circle jerk, going, "Come on over here."
Oh,
and you're like, "Oh."
Yeah, what is it? You downloaded moderate laughter?
Yeah.
What you're in your mind? You were going, what if something's funny, but not that funny?
And then there's
okay. What would you rather? Would you rather experience that circle jerk scene again, or make sweet love till the morning light with B. Arthur?
Well,
of the television show Maude.
See, I was safe. I was safely in the mezzanine of this, looking down on it, and I looked down and I went, "Oh fuck!" If ever there was a time for a do, it would have been right there.
Yeah, but so what are they? What are they jerking off to? There's. It was like we just answered a really good question. Was that Jeopardy? We're so sued.
I'm going to go with.
If one of those 5 listeners out there happens to work for Jeopardy, we're
happens
screwed.
to be Alex.
So they're
like
surrounding.
They're for 500, Alex.
They're surrounding this couple making sweet love.
No, they're not even making sweet love. One of them's a prostitute. She's in her 60s.
She's giving a wink job.
And the other guy's paid for her to come in. Obviously, he's an exhibitionist, and she's
exhibitionist.
Yeah, he's into
exhibitionist.
Exhibition. Anyway,
I would have fired you from that porno job if you said, I know about exhibitionism. You're hired. I'd be like, fuck you. You're fired.
You're not hired at all. You're fired.
Yeah. Oh, did I say hired? I meant fired. Get out of here.
That job, I hated it so much, and the owner had a hard on.
You loved that job.
I loved it because
you did nothing.
I loved it because I didn't give a shit about it so much that the owner would threaten to fire me, and I'd go, well, fuck you. I don't give a shit. Fire me then, like this.
Who's also your landlord? You should also bring that up.
But by the end of it, he went, I'm gonna have to let you go because you're.
Because of your air guitar that he caught on camera?
Yeah, that's fucking amazing. That is fucking amazing.
Do you want to explain that one?
Yeah.
Have we already talked about that?
I think we did
have,
talk about
yeah.
that.
Okay, fuck.
But
that's
he
fucking
said I'm
priceless.
gonna have to let you go because your heart's not in it anymore. And I was like, my heart's not in it. Whose heart's in a fucking porno job? When I grow up, I'm gonna get a job at a porno theater.
Okay, everybody, in grade 1, we're going to be putting out blank pieces of paper, and we all want you to write down when I grow up, and then you just draw a picture of a circle jerk, and then with a picture that says me right beside it, going. Which that's going to work out in the podcast. So
That's enough with the exhibitionalism.
Yeah. Is this show called Exhibitionalism?
Maybe we'll change the show name.
What is this one called?
Well, it was supposed
Psi
to
Factor and the Cougar on Psi Factor and the Cougar.
Which we.
that basically covers every
Well,
single
that's what we do
episode.
every show. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's keep it because it's really good.
Yeah.
It's
it is
described
pretty good.
this show so far.
Yeah.
I wanted you to talk about that.
Are you talking to Jackie who never tells any stories?
That Emerson
my
story.
Keith Emerson.
Yeah, I look for that everywhere and I can't. But you told me that story. It sounded fucking amazing, and I'd like to hear it personally. Go ahead.
All right. Well, you know what? I'm even going to one up it then because most people are going to find this boring. But in the podcast, if you want to miss this story, you can grab the cursor
Yeah.
and move it ahead 3 minutes. So set the timer, Jackie. I'm going to get this over on and
You're
over
really
with
gonna do
in
it
3
in 3
minutes.
minutes. Okay.
No,
well,
probably not.
You can't tell a story in 3 minutes.
impossible.
Every single one of your stories starts with, "And first God created light."
Yeah. And it ends
for the
with, "To
history-
get it to the other side of the road." The end.
Yeah, kids.
Yeah. The one time I was
tell you,
walking
if this
down.
is gonna get Howard shit. Howard Stern. I'm gonna leave this fucking place. I told you.
There's a quote from a previous archive. You're going to have to go back to the archives and figure out which episode that amazing quote came from.
Anybody knows can tweet that in right now.
Good way to give
But
out
yeah, that was
Twitter
weird though because I
fans.
was like, this person that we're talking with has an excellent sense of humor and was an excellent guest.
Yeah.
But why did she think we were going to do Morley Safer on S&M? I never understood that. I'm like, the show's called Psi Factor and the Cougars Straight Talk.
It's not
Who
really
would be-
hard-hitting journalism.
No.
No.
It's fucking terrible.
No.
Anyways, okay, so I'll preempt your Keith Emerson
Hello,
story
baby.
that no one else will like other than you. But since you're a huge fan of the show,
I'm the biggest fan.
you
so
are the biggest fan.
Yeah.
And I'm the second biggest
You owe
fan.
it to the show's biggest fan.
Yeah,
Me.
this is one of the freakiest things I've ever seen, and I can't remember anything, but I do remember these two things. One time, just down the street from the porno cinema that we were talking about on Saint Laurent, I was walking to the rehearsal space, or I was going shopping. I used to live right up. Remember when the place I had on Colonial, and
Grasshopper.
and I went by, what's that place we called it? Dirty Bird. What's that Portuguese chicken place? Coco Rico.
Coco Rico. Yeah.
Yeah, we should be a sponsor. Get on that.
Yeah. I don't even like their chicken anymore.
I think it's okay.
All right, get on with
Dirty Bird. And you know their rotisserie chicken things that are in the front window? It must have been like 11 o'clock in the afternoon or something. I know
In the
you're going to say
morning?
it's shocking that I was up.
11 o'clock in the afternoon.
I think I had just finished my Publisac gig and I was just going to unwind. And anyways,
I love you.
Fuck, you know what I'm starting to realize? We're idiots.
yeah. Wait, you only realize that it's the
just
8th
dawning on me
episode?
now.
Really? We've known each other for 25 years and you're just getting it now. Walking down the street, and you know they have the rotisserie chicken things on the thing, and it's like slowly goes, and then there's a cascade of.
Yeah.
I guess something was fucked up on the rotisserie machine, and it was just going like 100 miles an hour, going, and it was just like, and there's just grease going, and there's Portuguese guys there going, oh no, the chicken, and I was just going, and I was just sitting there going, wow.
Can you not do a better accent than that?
Oh no! Salve! I'm Portuguese, but I speak in Italian, like Saint Leonard.
It's racist on so many levels.
Totally.
It's just
but
excellent.
it was an amazing racist.
Yeah.
And
The
this
amazing
is-
racist.
Anyways, and this leads up to the story. This Keith Emerson of the popular performing group Emerson, Lake and Palmer. See, we finish each other's sentences.
I know.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
They do this tour, and it's the very beginning of the tour. And I guess at that time it was like in the 70s and stuff, and it's like a big deal. You got to put on a big show. And so Keith Emerson comes up with this idea going, the way preempting the guy from Motley Crue's drum kit thing,
Yeah.
which if you
Tommy.
keep the rotisserie thing in your head, he has this idea, and I've seen this once, and neither of us can find it. It was on the WFMU site, and then it was gone. Somewhere it must exist. He had this thing where he gets strapped in, and he does a keyboard solo, because their show is like 3.5 hours long, or whatever. He does a keyboard solo, and he's all strapped in, and he goes over the audience in this giant arena, and they start spinning him. And he goes, we're playing like some sort of shitty classical piece on an organ or whatever. And I guess it's the first night, and they didn't bother rehearsing this thing. Like they just rehearsed, I guess, because they go to those big
You never
sound
heard
stages.
this?
But
you never heard about this before?
No.
the thing wasn't ready for the rehearsals. So it's him playing some Baroque shitty piece. And the thing starts going like that rotisserie chicken. It starts going like, and so all you hear on his keyboard is like, a little bit, probably like my performance at the Cameron Tavern, I would imagine. Sounds like Carla Bley or something going, Lamont Young's How to Tune a Well-Tuned Piano or something. But the whole time he's like almost puking. Because he's going, I guess it's motion sickness. He's going, trying to do it, going, get me up back to the stage. And there's like a roadie who's probably like stoned on some 70s Quaaludes or something, going, oh no, trying to get him
like
back in.
me
He's
when
going,
I was roading
and
for you.
I saw it once when I was in New York. My friend had it on videotape way pre YouTube, and I was laughing so much I was peeing myself. It was literally the greatest thing I've seen since that rotisserie chicken.
The way you described it to me the first time that I heard that is that he starts going like, "What? Slow it down! It's going too fast. Slow it down! It's going too fast." he's doing it in the
But he's still trying to play it though. He's giving it a go. He's giving 110%, but he can't play anything because he's just going.
It's going way too fast.
Yeah, they got rid of it like after that first show, but it was like filmed, and it was like really well filmed. Like it wasn't a bootleg or anything. Like I was just going, wow, this is incredible.
The Cougar.
See, I knew that story would be good.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
you were right.
amazing.
Isn't that a good story?
That's amazing.
He told it better the last time, though.
Do you want to hear
the last time you told it.
Should we have a word from our sponsor?
Yeah.
Shake le piscine, mange dans l'eau. C'est ça la vraie vie de piscine.
So, I don't know why you guys decided to play this anyway.
It's really good. Get into it, man. This is what Quebec is like, if anybody's wondering.
Yeah.
We have to listen to that
If anybody wants-
almost every day.
An idea, and
As soon as you get outside, you open your door, that's the first thing that's jolly old Quebec right there.
I wanna-
a lot of people are listening that are probably used to live in jolly old Quebec, and that's probably taking them back a little bit.
where did the jolly old come from? Anyway,
Ye old Quebec, I don't know.
so
Jolly old England.
I want to take our audience through the thought process.
Augie's laughing so much he's crying. At Club Piscine, the whole rest of the show, she was completely stone-faced, going, looking at her watch, going, fuck. Then we played Club Piscine, and she came to life, lit up like a Christmas tree.
I want to take our audience walk them through the steps of our Would you shut that
That's going to cost Club Piscine twice as much. That is a great song. And true enough, it's not as good as the original, but we couldn't find the original.
That's so shit.
That's amazing.
That makes
Did you hear the guitar solo though in the middle? It's so nice.
And we should
It's
also
like
mention too that our
atmospheric
sponsor for the
and-
next episode is going to be Three Amigos, which we're going to have to play that
yeah,
at.
That's
That's on YouTube, by the way, Jackie. Do your producer
I'll
work.
get on that right now. We can play that one a little later. In the
You'll
show.
be thinking you're paying in pesos.
My beat didn't show up. Okay, maybe not the last guy. So I love the French. I live amongst them. I've gone out with a couple of them. But
This is the most racist episode.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Howard might have found the original.
oh, okay. He's sending
Club Piscine, Club Piscine, Club Piscine.
So, but Jonathan and I used to, when we worked in that Edgefest show for about 6-7 hours that we sung that song over and over again.
Yeah, remember Mimi Robertson
Yeah.
that we were painting signs with?
Yeah.
Did we ever tell you about when we worked at that show?
No,
What, really?
no.
Where we hid from the boss the entire time, and then Frank from Big Drill Car was road managing some
For
band.
Great Big Fish or Great Big Sea or some shit like real big
Something
fish.
really great and big.
Yeah.
It was Great White, I think. So he's like, hey, why don't you guys come on our tour bus? It was loaded with booze, which of course we just sat back and wasted, looking out the window at our boss looking for us. We could even hear him going, has anybody seen Jonathan and Simon? And they're like, no, we haven't seen them for hours. Like, where the fuck are they?
And it was two-way, like they couldn't see in, so we could be standing like a meter away from them while they're looking around. Where the fuck are they? With a beer in our hand, just drinking it, looking at them. It was beautiful.
It was beautiful.
Which it really is a metaphor to both yours and my entire life.
Yeah.
The easiest way, any way you could do things the easiest way, that's the way we'll take it.
Yeah, the path of least resistance. Well, I got a good segue, professional podcasting, which is a story I had already told, but Augie thought it sucked, so she edited it out of the show. I was working at, what the hell was it? Was it Warp Tour?
I was working with you at it.
No, not the bottle thing.
Yeah, I was working with you on that.
Oh,
show.
really? I thought Betty was working at. Was Betty working at that show?
No. Well, you always mix the two of them up. One was Edgefest and one was the Warp Tour. And Edgefest, they never did it again there, and the lineup was just enough for any person that didn't like Canadian content would fucking just kill themselves at that show. It was like the Tea
was
Party,
horrendous, yeah.
I'm Mother Earth. Like
It was like Big Shiny Tunes.
you could have killed off like every 90s Canadian band in one go if you just blew that place
Did
up.
Treble Charger play?
Probably.
What an incredible
You
band.
toured with that band.
Anybody's
You were in
listening-
that band.
I'm in that band. I am that band. So as we've established, and especially with Howard's amazing mashup, we've established that I played in this band called the Doughboys, who some people might not know, but where Jackie was a big fan of, which is even more embarrassing than me playing in the band. But
He probably had posters of you over his bed.
yeah, he's like, fuck,
He's like,
if I could
can't
ever meet
believe
that
it.
guy with his
Now I'm-
long hair.
Now I'm
Full head of hair.
his long,
Yeah.
beautiful hair.
And anyway, so
and big, huge shorts.
yeah, but that was very,
That was
very
that was of the style.
de
back then.
rigueur.
Remember those SNFU shorts that were like a dress?
Am I ever? Should I just not tell the
Just
story
get-
and
get
we'll
to
just
it.
talk about
Get to it.
Fashion Corner with the Psi Factor? So, anyways, I'd left the band for a while, and there was a bit of bad blood. They hated my guts. I didn't hate them, but I surely hated their music, which I helped write. So I guess it was our music. But anyways, so I'd been out of the band for about a year, but I was really good friends with Wiz, who replaced me. Was that Santa or Wiz? It was Wiz.
Wiz replaced you first. And
No,
then
but I
Santa
mean at that
after.
show.
Oh, it was Santa.
It was Santa. Okay.
I was also
who I'm
some-
also really good friends with.
Yeah, it was also some Sko after.
Yeah.
At that show, actually. It wasn't
No, no.
Oh, it was
No, it was definitely the Doughboys. Because
Yeah.
I remember I wanted to see them, but they were like, okay, Jonathan, you got to go. They had this like water sprinkler system thing going to cool down the audience because it was super hot. It was like July or whatever. And so there was this thing like off to the stage where all the water sprinkler went was like almost like a man-made lake or something. So the entire crowd, everybody's like avoiding this thing. It's just all mud. And my shining bald head had been like just cooked, like I was red like a lobster. I was literally sundaed.
Let me just interject that show, both our Irish asses cannot handle the sun at all, and we were so fucking red that they had to throw us in the back of this van and both of us and drive us to a pharmacy because our lips were like all
it was hellish. So I'm just like completely like, I have sunstroke at this point. I'm like, I can't even form a sentence. I'm just like, oh.
He's getting paid to pick up bottles.
Yeah, and they have bottled water there. And my job was to get a garbage bag and grab all the empty bottles and put them in this garbage bag. That was like my all day thing. Except I'm like, ugh. So going up to people going, are you done with that water? And they'd go, yeah, here you go, weird person. I'm like, thank you. Putting it in my garbage bag, trudge over. Are you going to finish your water?
Oh, it's just a bum. He's returning empties.
I want your water bottle. And, but I'm like kind of excited to see the Doughboys because it'd be like a weird experience. Like songs I played like hundreds, if not thousands of times. And I kind of wanted to see them on stage and stuff too, but they were like, yeah, don't let Jonathan backstage because they still hated my guts and blah, blah, blah. So they're playing and I'm like picking up water bottles, but I'm looking at them going, oh yeah, I remember that. Oh yeah, that's kind of it. Like I was kind of enjoying it. But I got to go pick up these water bottles. And then my boss, who I won't even mention his name, but you know who it is, who's a nice guy, but because he's like, Jonathan, you got to go in that man-made lake that had happened, which was like 2 feet of water, and it's just all mud. And he's like, you got to get all those bottles out of that lake. And I was like, oh man, I just kind of want to watch this band. I used to be in them and stuff. And he's like, just do it, man. And I was getting paid like, $7 an hour or something. And I was like, okay, fine, fuck. So I was kind of watching them, and I was so sun-dazed, I just waded out into this man-made pool, with water halfway up to my knees.
I think
going in and fishing out these water bottles out of this muck and putting it in this.
I think somebody gave him a rice patty hat on top of it.
Yeah, it was like Vietnam.
I'm serious.
It was like Apocalypse
his
Now.
scalp was going so fucking red that somebody gave him a rice patty hat.
Yeah, and I think there was corks hanging off it, so it was a bit of an Aussie feel.
He was wearing jeans that were rolled up to like his knees.
Yeah, and so I was so out of it because I've been like, the sun had just been beating down upon me. I was just like punch drunk or something, and so I'm just grabbing and fishing out these things and putting it in this garbage bag, going, blah. And then suddenly Kastner, who I'm hoping is listening right now, from the stage, he's like, we just like to dedicate this song to a very special friend of ours. He was in the band for a lot of time, and like did this authentically. I was kind of touched by it, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Jonathan Cummins is Jonathan. Oh, he's right there, because there was like this giant, huge, thousands of people all avoiding this man-made lake, and then he said it just as I was right in the middle of this huge lake, fishing out, like leaning over, grabbing. And I had like a water bottle in my hand and a garbage bag that was floating on top of the water, going, ah! And I'm not even kidding. He goes, he's right there. The Jonathan Cummins, everybody. Because I guess he didn't realize what I was doing. Like, he's like, oh, I guess Jonathan's just waiting in a pool of water to cool down or something. And the entire crowd looks over and goes, ooh. As I'm just going, ah. And I'm not even kidding.
It's the acting that makes his story so good.
Yeah.
As I was going, ah.
And so I'm not even kidding, the band. So they go into a song and everybody just kind of shakes their head going, ooh, that was just disturbing. It's just sad.
That's
and
rock
go
and
and
roll.
continue watching the band. And this one kid is looking at me and he wades out into the middle of the water where I'm seeing him coming like through the water. And I'm like, the fuck's up? What's going on here? I was just like completely embarrassed. Thankfully, I was so sunburned you couldn't even tell I was embarrassed. And so this kid comes out and he's going, is that true? What John Kastner said on the stage, that you used to be in the Doughboys? And I was like, yeah, I used to have hair. It's like an opposite of my head now. And it's like, so you were the guitarist? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, I saw your videos. And I was going, oh, cool. And he goes, can you sign my ticket stub? And I go, okay. So I'm signing it going, this is the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me. If I can make it through this, I can make it through anything. And I'm so sun-dazed. I hand his pen and his ticket stub back to him, and then I noticed that he's got a water bottle in his hand and it's empty. And then at the very, he's like, Willie, man, I just, you were really like, I really listened to your music a lot. And I was like, are you done with that water bottle? And he's like, yeah. And I just put it in my garbage bag and kept fishing.
Later on that evening, I saw him gathering his friends who were all wearing Doughboys shirts, and they're going, that guy right there? And Jonathan didn't even notice. He was busy going, no.
I was I was so delirious. But then again, I was working, so I'm not really used to that either, so.
At one point you were actually putting forth effort, and the sound effects were working with the stories and stuff like this.
Yeah,
and
now you're like, kettle
that's just
drum.
Random.
It's
Great
art.
job. I'll do a kettle drum.
Making art.
Bong.
Making art.
It's like, boom.
Do you guys want to hear the other commercial?
We have
here?
another sponsor?
Yeah.
We're making so much money now.
amigos, looking for a great new place? Listen to these people.
Finally, the perfect Mexican restaurant. Fabulous food.
This is authentic Mexican cuisine. Your favorite dishes at prices so low, you'll think you're paying in pesos. Lunch in the day, dinner at night. Listen to the people.
It's always fun.
It's great.
Actually, my date never showed up.
Okay, maybe not that last guy. Resto Bar, Three Amigos, St. Catherine Street, just west of Guy.
This is the racist episode.
Who the hell? Who like you're a film director and you're like, hey, I got a gig, man. It's like the money's not the best, but like a gig's a gig.
There's so many
okay,
people.
I've been going to Concordia Film School. What is it? Look, Three Amigos, man, need this ad thing. And he's like, I can run with that. Wait a minute. Three Amigos? Okay, keep talking. I'm listening. I'm all ears now. And he comes up with that idea. And then what's even more stupendous is the guy goes to the guy who owns Three Amigos going, you know that 10 grand you gave me for a commercial? Well, you're going to wish you gave me 25 grand. Check this out. You'll be thinking you're paying in pesos. And then the owner guy goes,
Why would he
perfect.
wish that he
this
gave
is,
him
this
twice
is
as much?
amazing.
Well, you're going to wish that you gave me twice as much for this commercial.
You're going to be thinking you're paying in pesos when you see this ad. And then it's like all those people go, this is tremendous stuff.
I'm more
Is there awards for commercials? Because you, my friend, have just won the Oscar of commercials. And then remember when Taco Bell had their ad was, take a run for the border.
Yeah.
What the hell
That's
were they?
pretty
It's
racist.
like, isn't there like 100 people, a marketing team going, yeah, take a run for the border.
the
That's
thing, it's-
great.
That's what even in the case of Three Amigos, how many people must have okayed that before?
Tons.
And then fucking
That's insane.
And then went, okay, well then here it is, right to the air. You know.
Yeah, that's like Michael Jackson saying, don't Jew me. Doesn't he have like a team of
said that? I
100
missed
people?
that.
Yeah,
I
he
heard
did.
that.
He did say that about his. But it was the record that got released on 9/11, so nobody ever heard it.
Oh.
But he said, "Don't
Because Neil
Jew
Young's
me."
"Let's Roll" was bumping that.
And but doesn't he have like 100 handlers that were like, Michael, you might want to rethink This one.
Don't Jew me part.
Yeah, everybody went, great stuff. Let's all give this a pass. This could never possibly blow up in your freaky weird face. In your melting candle, tight as a snare drum face.
In your burnt up, fucked up,
your weird Barbie looking face.
So my sister's friends with a music lawyer that who represented the guy that wrote that song "New Day" by Celine Dion, and he's just like a dude who's paying for rent on an apartment in Scarborough, but he wrote music. And she picked up that song, New Day, and that song was released on fucking 9/11, and it was a massive hit, and that guy went from
for 10 minutes.
Doesn't matter. He, like, his lawyer, after his cut, goes, okay, here's your check, $8 million. One song.
There you go, kids.
What are we doing with this stupid podcast thing? We should be working on riffs right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get fucking wasted tonight, so try and stick around.